Are you a breeder looking to showcase your show pigs? With a Walton Webcasting Show Pig Shoot, we are your go-to video service for capturing the full picture of your show pigs. We specialize in providing top quality video services for breeders like you. Our skilled video team comes directly to your operation. You talk to pigs, we capture the video. Whether it's baby pigs, boars, gilts, or sows, we ensure that their unique features will shine through. With the power of our website and social media, your professionally recorded videos are streamed live, allowing potential customers from all over the country to view and appreciate the quality of your show pigs. We handle the technicalities so you can focus on what you do best, raising exceptional livestock. To schedule your next show pig shoot, call Rhonda at 765-431-7367. Welcome to the ultimate show on the track. Today we celebrate our premier partners, the driving force behind the livestock industry across the nation. Get ready to witness the power of partnership as our premier partners take to the asphalt. Green light and they're off. On the track we have our first partner, Laird Premium Blend Genetics from premiumblendgenetics.com. Next up, it's Beck's Hybrids from beckshybrids.com. And here comes Showright from showright.com. Coming around, we have Brad Howe Ford from bhiford.com. And here comes First Farmers Bank and Trust from ffbt.com. And rounding out the racers, it's Kennedy Ventures from kennedyventuresok.com. On the track and in the ring, it's all about collaboration and teamwork. Join us in honoring our premier partners because together they're the driving force of the livestock industry.
It's time for Cattleman's Congress. This is a Walton Webcasting production. Livestock like you've never seen before.
We are just waiting for some cattle to get off the stales, and then we'll get rolling. Pin show. Nate Coulterman is a 2002 graduate of UNL, owner of Colt Cattle in Garland, Nebraska. Nate and his family own and operate Colt Cattle in Nebraska, selling and exhibiting livestock all across the country. They have several sales each year, which include all breeds of cattle. Nate has had the opportunity to judge numerous shows across the United States. He takes great pride in each opportunity he has to evaluate cattle and feels it is all part in being an ambassador for the youth and their programs. We are bringing in the first heifer, presented by Rhett Tripp, TCSF Olivia Wick, AL, sired by 6 Mile John Wick. These are March heifer calves.
When she starts coming in.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Next in, TCSF Bono Wick, AM, sired by 6 Mile John Wick, presented by Rhett Tripp. She is a March 17th. Last in for the March heifers, TCSF Olivia Wick, AI, sired by 6 Mile John Wick. trip from Nardin, Oklahoma for his March heifer calves. Next into the ring are the February heifer calves. Starting off is KAMRX Tempest 508N, presented by Illingsworth Farms from Funk, Nebraska. Born on February 22nd, sired by Red Diamond El Rey 102. The Red Angus Pin Show cattle, after the show, they'll be in Barn 4 in the Red Angus. Is that good? Okay. Next into the ring, KAMRX Pearl 512N, presented by Illingsworth Farms, sired by Red Diamond El Rey 102, born February 24th. Last in for the February heifer calves, KAMRX Bella 511N, presented by Illingsworth Farms, sired by Red Diamond El Rey 102, born February 24th. Afternoon, we have the Stockyard City Red Sale selling a flush donated by TRS. Donations go toward the Red Angus Youth Expo. Please join us at the sale. We are now bringing the two classes of March and February heifers back in to select the champion and reserve. We would once again like to thank Rhett Tripp for presenting his March heifer calves, all born in March and all sired by 6 Mile John Wick, and Illingsworth Farms for their February heifer calves, all born in February and all sired by Red Diamond El Rey 102.
Okay, well, thank you for having me out here to the Cattlemen's Congress to evaluate your pen show here today in the Red Angus. There's not a lot of numbers, but certainly we start out here with a ton of quality in both these sets of cattle. We talked the older group first. I think there's a nice trio of heifers here. I think they're all really complete. They balance up good. They're the right size for their age. They're cattle that are just awful useful. You get to studying their structure and kind of nitpicking things here and there. You'd maybe change one or two of them. I think, the first heifer came in, you'd maybe like to open her up in her front end. Her skeleton wants to get a little narrow up there, but an awful attractive, neat made kind of a heifer. Young lady in the middle holding the lighter colored heifer, I think, is one that you could spread out, give a little more spread down her top that we see in the cattle on either side of her. I think she comes to us pretty green here today, but a nice heifer. And then we wind up their trio with an absolute hammer that comes out here and gives you a nice look. It's a heifer that grabs your eye, a female that's certainly acceptable in terms of her size, as the whole group is, and I think just an awful good way to end up there. Our younger set comes out here, and as you can see, they have an advantage in terms of frame size, an advantage in terms of weight per day of age, but I think just an awful complete, awful good group in their own right. I don't want to stand out here and tear them all apart, because I know everybody's got to go home and sell cattle and do things with these heifers down the road, and nobody really wants to hear what I think anyway. But I would like to, here and there, I'd like to strengthen their top, pull them together just a little bit. But they're cattle that are big and stout. You really have to appreciate the bone and the foot that they have. Maybe like to tuck that tail head up a little bit in that lighter colored heifer, but a really solid group of heifers there as well. I think, like we said, not a lot of numbers, certainly a lot of quality. I think it's close between these two because there's some give and take there. But I think the boys with the big heifers over here, we're going to use them to win. You guys will be reserved. Thank you for coming. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Rhett Tripp and his March heifer calves for champion, and Illingsworth Farms with their February heifer calves for reserve. We will now be moving on to the Cattlemen's Congress National Red Angus Bull Pin Show. We will take a short picture break and then move right the juniors to the National Red Angus Show, the Red Angus Youth Expo, June 19th through the 26th in Madison, Wisconsin. There will be plenty of educational opportunities and an opportunity for young members to meet other people. Our National Red Angus Bull Pin Show, starting with February Bull Calves. First in the ring, T-Bar S Iron Horse, N1362, born February 18th, presented by T-Bar S Cattle Company out of Billings, Montana, sired by LSF DLL Locomotion. Not Montana. Bull Calves is T-Bar S Vita Rio N1365, born February 24th, presented by T-Bar S Cattle Company out of Billings, Missouri, sire HRP Bullish 2028K. Last in for the February Bull Calves, T-Bar S Jumpstart N1363, born February 19th, presented by TRS Cattle Company out of Billings, Missouri, sired by Bieber Jumpstart J137.
Really a nice set of bulls here to start out. Our first group here today. The guys got them presented to the nines, and I think, you know, with that, they're just awful good cattle. And I think you can study them from top to bottom. There's some differences in terms of type and kind, but they're all three really good in their own right. I think the bull in the middle gives us a little more stretch than the other two on either side. Just a little framier, a little more skeleton to that bull, but I like the expression of muscle and the density that the two cattle on either side of him have. Really a nice group of bulls. Congratulations.
Next in the ring for the January and February bull calves, we have Sand Ridge Metric 5757, born February 10th, presented by Addison Val of Forest, Mississippi, sired by Red Rainbow Metric 106K. If you have any questions, the weights and WDAs are posted on the screen for all of the cattle. Next in the ring, Sand Ridge Moon Pie, 5762, born February 9th, presented by Addison Val of Forest, Mississippi, sired by Red SSS Moon Pie, 680K. Last in the ring for the January and February bull calves, we have Sand Ridge John Wick, 5728, born January 21st, presented by Addison Val of Forest, Mississippi, sired by 6 Mile John Wick.
Again, there in our second group, I think a really nice trio of cattle. I think they all combine themselves and tie together really well. They're cattle that have a tremendous amount of balance. They're cattle that are good in terms of their testicles and foot development. They're just awful good from top to bottom. I think we started out with a calf that, you know, gives you a nice, easy keeping kind of look to him. He's deep-sided, good colored, good-footed. You just like that bull. We get into kind of a muscle bull there in the second guy that come in. I think he could change his angle to his shoulder ever so slightly, but I think he's an awful good calf, going to go on and put some pounds on in your herd. And we wind up with a meat and potatoes kind of bull here. Our third bull, I think, is an outstanding individual, and I think he's just got a lot of neat things, checks a lot of boxes. But you guys take him back and take a look at him back in the barn, and you can evaluate him yourself. But I think this is a solid set of bulls. Thanks for bringing them.
Next in the ring are the January bull calves, starting off with TWG Fairmount in 515, born January 28th, presented by Timber Creek Ranch out of Marietta, Oklahoma, sired by Weber Fairmount 339. Next in for the January bull calves, TWG Power Glide in 523. Born January 29th, presented by Timber Creek Ranch out of Marietta, Oklahoma, sired by Rose Weber Power Glide 2109. Now in for the January bull calves is TWG Instinct in 520. Born January 30th, presented by Timber Creek Ranch out of Marietta, Oklahoma, sired by TWG Instinct L338.
our third group of bulls, they come back out here, and I think you can pretty much see just looking at them that they're a very conventional set. I think they're a set that, have a tremendous amount of doability and good about them. I like their structure on a couple of them. You could maybe tweak them here and there. If you study them on paper and you look at it and examine it, and I'm not going to stand out here and tell you I'm a PhD by any means, but the heaviest bull has the lightest birth weight and the lightest yearling, and he's 80 pounds heavier than the others. And I mean, again, you take that data and use it to your advantage and where it fits in your herd. But I think, in a real-world situation, we've got a big growthy bull here that came out in the third hole. The young man's calf in the middle, I think, is one that's exceptional in terms of look and dimension. I like the stoutness and the power of the lead bull. I think he's one that gives you a cool look when you get off of him. He's, again, very dense in terms of his muscle pattern. Just three awful good bulls. And we'll get him back out here for champion. Thanks for bringing him.
We will now be bringing all three pins of bulls back in to select the Grand and Reserve Champion pin of bulls. Once again, we would like to invite everybody to check out all of the Red Angus Pin Show cattle in Barn 4, where they'll be in their designated stalls. So we invite everybody to go check them out. Once again, we would like to invite you to the Stockyard City Red Sale at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And all donations go to the Red Angus Youth Expo.
Well, we get our bulls back out here. You know, we didn't have a lot in terms of numbers, but we certainly have had a lot of quality. And I think, you know, each pen is certainly deserving of some competition in a class or individual situation, however it may be. And I think, you know, there's absolutely some individuals in each pen that can go on and gather some purple up in the other ring as well. We started out with a set of bulls that I thought, you know, come to us and they're just packed full of meat and muscle, and you like the extra look that those bulls possess. And I think when you study them down their top, they carry that top down their side deeper than the rest of the cattle in the ring. I think they're cattle that are just exceptional in terms of their look. Like I said, I like the balance from top to bottom of that trio. I think an awful good set of bulls there. The guys in the middle come all the way from Mississippi out here, and I appreciate that. I know what it takes to get cattle here, what it costs, you know, and just the commitment to it. We talked about these cattle in class. I like the doability of the lead bull. We end up with a big, powerful kind of a bull there at a third hole. I think he's one that kind of carries the group in terms of style and pizzazz and look. When you get off of him, you can see he's got a tremendous amount of balance. Like the way that bull transitions from one end to the other. Our third group of calves that come out here, I think, is one that, you know, again shows us that density that we see in our first group. I think they're cattle that are acceptable in terms of their soundness. I like the testicles and features these bulls have. They're cattle that are easy doing, easy keeping, kind of like me and the young man in the middle there. And, you know, they maybe want to get a little easy here and there at times, but I really like those bulls, and I think they're very, very useful in their kind. After watching the female show a little bit on the internet last night, you know, I think it goes without saying what the Red Angus have done and how they've grown and how they've progressed. And just the quality of the cattle from top to bottom yesterday was very, very impressive. We're going to have the advantage or the opportunity to show a Red Angus heifer this year in my family, and man, the sky's the limit, it looks like over there. So my hat's off to you guys. Thanks for having me, Aaron, for getting all the hotel and all that, getting me here. I really appreciate that. And like I said, I know this is going to grow. I think you guys take these bulls, take them on back. I want everybody to go back there and look at them and evaluate them yourself. But an awful good set. Let's give these guys a congratulations, a round of applause. I'll get you a champion in reserve. Thank you.
Once again, we would like to thank our judge, Nate Coulterman, for coming out and judging the pen shows. Our grand champion, Red Angus Pen of Bulls, goes to T-Bar S Cattle Company. Your reserve grand champion, Pen of Bulls, goes to Timber Creek Ranch out of Marietta, Oklahoma.
Please go and visit all of our exhibitors this afternoon over in Barn 4.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. And I would again like to invite you to the National Red Angus Open Show at the OG&E Arena tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us for Cattleman's Congress. This has been a Walton Webcasting production. Livestock like you've never seen before.